How's this for a soundbite?
With the handcuff on my wrist, hand on my head, back seat, squad car transportation to the station.
Shout out to Elevator Brewery.
You know, cause I gotta stay straight from my newspaper photos. Yo, the frame up came up.
I've been skateboarding for probably about 15 or 16 years now. I honestly can't even remember to what my life was before I started skateboarding.
I've been skating since I was 10. I'm 23, so 13 years. Yeah.
The skateboarding culture is so unique because it's one of those things where we are all different races, we all have different backgrounds. We're all just very different people outside of skateboarding, but to be able to just meet with each other and skate and have fun and there's no other sport in the world, there's no other thing in the world where I can be friends with an 8-year-old, a 31-year-old, and a 50-year-old and hang out with them in one place where we all share a common thing that we enjoy.
Skate culture is pretty different depending on where you are. So Cincinnati, skate culture is definitely different. There's a lot of cliques going on, so you kind of just have to like mingle your way through. But in overall, I feel like skate culture is really accepting of everybody, and I feel like it's a really positive thing. Helps people stay out of trouble for the most part.
But skateboarding has brought me, a lot of positive figures, a lot of people that I've learned from about life and things like that. And then as well as we do that with the kids here, we kind of, a lot of them they come from broken homes and things like that. And to be able to come here where they know someone they like trust and feel comfortable with, like we're going to be here to support them no matter what. That culture, you don't find that anywhere else, really.
Gotta eat in the case that they gave me, I just can't beat, yo, and I get no respect. I call my friends collect, yo, I'm born a suspect. You brown in this town and you better hit the deck. Since the first day of birth, I was born a suspect. Yeah, I gotta walk around strapped cause I'm on the attack. Cause I'm black, got a target on my back. And every day I pray that my life will be different, but ain't nothing changed, so I hit the and stay lifted. I'm born a suspect, I'm born a suspect, I'm born a suspect. I'm born a suspect, yo. Rolling down the block in my SCC, a 5-0 in my rear view. Know he wanna test me, wondering how I get that $50,000 car, but he don't even give a who you are.
I think a common misconception that people have about skateboarders is like drug abuse and alcohol abuse that's surrounding it, and that is deeply like embedded within the culture. For example, like in Cincinnati, there is kind of like a grimy skate scene. And, the people who are in charge of that scene right now really make it tough for kids to get involved in skateboarding, but it's not true most of the time. Like personally, I'm sober, and when I lived in Orlando, Florida, and I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, it was not like that at all. It kind of just depends where you are, though.
I have tons of stories of dealing with the cops. 9 times out of 10, they come and they say, you can't skate here. I just say, hey, look, I know this is my job. I'm gonna take 2 more tries and then we'll leave, whatever. There's a ledge spot right behind Kosai that we always go to. Super awesome. Shout out to Washington Boulevard. Shout out to the cops for letting us skate there and not giving us any shit. For the most part, most cop interactions that I've had have been pretty mellow, so I'm thankful for that.
You wouldn't stop me, but since I got a pick in my head, yeah, you know you gon' clock me. I put my joint over cause I got my paper straight.
The thing with skateboarding is there's parts of it that can be taught and there's other parts that you kind of have to just learn on your own. I can teach someone the very basics of how to do a trick, but it's up to them to learn to have that same persistence and determination, be willing to fail, be willing to get back up and try again. The biggest thing is I put the tools in front of them, I give them the instructions. From there, they have to work out the recipe themselves. And to most people, it just seems like I'm trying a trick and I'm getting hurt, but what that did was that just taught me how to problem solve, figure out what I'm doing wrong, not only take a beating, but also be able to push past the barriers of, oh, I'm hurt, but I can do this, I know I can do this, and those things get carried on into everyday life.
Skateboarding has benefited me in so many ways, just because it's always been like like an outlet for me to express myself freely and independently. You don't really need to do it with anybody else like you do a sport. There's no winning unless you're competing, but really there's no winning in skateboarding. You're just there to kind of have a good time. And like I come from a pretty rough background, and it's always been there in terms of like just a release to go out and get whatever it is that I'm going through out. And you can be aggressive and skate, you can be calm and skate. There's so many different ways that you can skate. And yeah.
I'm originally from upstate New York, and I've been living in Ohio for almost 10 years now. And the coolest thing is I had some friends that I grew up skateboarding with. I had them come down and visit, but a lot of them have since stopped skateboarding. So they got to come up here, and I showed them like, hey, I'm gonna be teaching lessons for an hour. Just kind of hang out. And they're like, cool. And not only did they get to watch me teach skateboarding lessons, I skated around the park myself. It was the coolest thing in the world to these guys that I looked up to growing up, to look over at them while I'm skating and just watch them stare at me with their mouths open like, how the f did you get so good? Like, everything you're doing is awesome. You're teaching the kids and you still kill it even though you're almost 30. That's f***ing awesome. To have that kind of thing, like, there was no better feeling than that, knowing I'm doing some good in the world, and even after all these years, like, shit's tight. If it wasn't for Skate Naked Skate Park when I moved into Columbus, I wouldn't have done a lot of the things that I've accomplished. And honestly, my favorite thing in the world that I do on a day-to-day basis is work with the kids. I love those kids. They're awesome. I love coming. I look forward to coming to the skate park and spending that time to help them learn. I love that interaction because I get hyped on them. I learn from them. They learn from me, and I've probably only got about 7 good years of skateboarding left if I take care of my body, but I seek comfort in knowing like the next generation is out in this park and I'm grooming them to take skateboarding and treat it with the same love and respect that I did growing up.